Okay, today we are working on a 2016 Plus 200 series Land Cruiser. So this is the facelift version. We are putting on a Predator bar today. So this is the hoopless bar. Now what you need to do when you get started is basically just pop the bonnet and start undoing everything. You want to take the top cover off, the grille out, bumper off, all the clips, fog lights, everything. So with the top cover here, you're going to have these little plastic like grommets, and basically you just push this down and lift up. It's as easy as that. So you want to take all these out. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 along this top plate, and then that will just slide out backwards as it's got the ducts here. Now with the grill is held in by a couple of screws up here, and then same thing as every other grill, these little clips just push down and out, and that'll pop off. Once that's off, I'll come back into the video and we'll take out a couple of clips along the top of the bumper, the 10 mils on the side. No, they're not 10 mils, they are Torx bits. So you want to take off all of these, all the clips on inside and underneath. So underneath you're going to have these retaining bolts here. So you want to take off all of them as well. And then the bumper will simply just unclip from here and pull forward. Okay, and also note that these side panels here are these silver pieces that go here, have to come off as well. Just get a trim removal tool, start from the end and work your way through. They are just clipped in. Okay, so grill's out. It's pretty straightforward. Take out those screws, pop off the side covers, and then just pull as hard as you can. It'll pop off. Now as for the front bumper, you've got little plastic clips here. They're pretty simple to get off. Get a flathead screwdriver under the lip, turn the screwdriver, and they pop out. There'll be 3 along the top here, 2 10mm screws on the headlights. You need to take them out. The Torx bits on the side, and about 15 10mm on down below, and then that should be able to pop off. So I'm going to do that now and come back once it's all off and show you the kit. Okay, so now once that front bumper is off, you'll be looking at this. So right here is like a transmission cooler. You got all your ducting and everything like that. All of this is going to need to be cut off up to this line here. You're going to want to take it off, cut it nice and neatly, and then come down so you still retain that bolt hole there. Same with this one on this side. You want to come across, down, and still retain that factory bolt hole there for the cover. But yeah, all of this bottom section needs to go. Same on this side here. It's very standard practice. Just cut along the top, come down, so you're still retaining that factory clip there as well. So we'll get that done. This bar here, this is your factory crash support. That needs to come off. There are 3 17mm nuts inside holding this on both sides. So you'll need to take that off. Once all that is done, all the trimming's done, we can then open up the package and have a look at all the bracketry and nuts and bolts that come with the kit. So I'll come back once that's all trimmed up and I'll show you how I've cut it and sort of what I've cut it with. So we'll come back to that now. Alright, now once that crash support's off, you then have 14mm nuts. Just need to be cracked off. Use a breaker bar because they will be tight. Now these nuts you want to retain. So you want to retain all 4, that one and those 3. You want to retain them because they will be reused on the bracketry that we provide. so do not lose them. So I'm going to take them off now, get those little crush supports off, probably get the center bash plate off as well, and cut this up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright, so everything's been cut. As you can see, it's all cut away just enough. You don't want to go too much, as the ducting obviously does have a purpose. Now, tooling as to what I use for that, because it is quite thick plastic, is one of these little vibration cutting tools. So it's very handy, quick, and they're cheap to get from Bunnings. Now, in the kit, this is obviously the bracket. This is the winch cradle bracket, which will bolt straight up to that there. That's why I was saying you need to use the factory nuts. And you also get your indicator park light. They are LED. So that's them there. The bar itself, so this is, like I said, the Predator bar, which is hoopless. So it's just a full bumper replacement. And the kit, you'll get all the bolts to mount the bar. Not really many, because this is not that involved. It's a really good kit. These are all the hardware for the grills, the fog lights, everything like that to mount up. So they're all stainless steel, obviously, and then these are like light bar brackets and things like that, just add-ons to the bar. Down here we got your front grill, side grills, the rubber that goes along the top. Please use this, otherwise you will see a gap. This helps, and it also helps setting your minimum distance from the fenders, because you don't want to have it too tight. Otherwise, as soon as you go over any sort of corrugation or anything like that, the bar will hit the car and you will bend your fender basically. So this gives you your minimal gap of about 10 to 15 mil. You got your fog lights and the brackets there, and then your winch number plate bracket. So yeah, and then these are the bash plates. I haven't unpacked them yet because that's the last thing that you do in the kit. Yeah, so we'll get putting everything from this bumper. So we got sensors to take off here, and we got all the wiring behind it for the fog lights. Then that'll get transferred over to here. These are the sensor holes. So if your car or your 200 series doesn't have sensors, which some don't, just leave these in here and they just look like that. Otherwise, you just get a flathead screwdriver, push in on one side, twist it around, it'll pop out. Clean it up with a step bit, and give it a quick paint with some just some satin black. Usually works pretty well on these bars. So yeah, I'm going to get that all dressed up now, ready to go on, and put the crash support on. And I'll show you this once it's all done, all fitted up nicely just before the bar goes on. Also with the lights, I do suggest getting these done by a professional, an auto sparky, because over here is where you'll be tapping into this grey plug here. Now I'm going to obviously test this with my test light and all that kind of stuff, cycle through the indicator and park. But yeah, if you're not confident in wiring, leave it and get it done by a professional. Alright, so while you're dressing the bar up and getting all your sensors and things in, these holes here, they are like a 17-18 mil hole. So that kind of gives you a guide as to where they should be, but you do need to drill them out with a step bit up to 22 mil to then fit them in properly. So 22 mil is the diameter of the like sensor holder and clips. So once that's in, perfect, nice easy fit. But yeah, once you drill that out, do paint it, do put a little bit of paint around the bare metal, just some satin black, and yeah, looks perfect. Okay, so we've just finished the wiring. Like I said, I'm not going to show you that because that should be done by a professional, but it just comes off the side of that there in that clip. Now the center bracket with the winch cradle, like I said, you got to reuse those nuts that come from factory. I put a washer in the middle and a washer on the end, just for some extra stability. These need to be torqued down as well, so make sure they're completely tight to about 150 newtons kind of thing. Also, there is side-to-side shift on this bracket, so you will need to go off a central point like this bolt here, and then measure from here to here, to the end there. Make sure it's exactly the same. Mine turned out to be 538 mil from center on each side, and then once you get that centralized, you can then tighten all the bolts. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the grill back in, and those little covers here. Make sure that looks all nice and neat. Get the top cover back on as well, and then we can slide the bar on. So the bar's all done. We've got the rubber on. We've got the fog lights in, grills in, or grill. The center one goes in last, and all of the wiring. So there's your park sensor there. The wiring's just tied up neatly on top, then comes back around. Make sure you put this in the right orientation, as this plug here is on the left hand side, the passenger side. So make sure you don't flip it on this side, because you're going to have massive problems. But yeah, so let me put the grill back in, and I'll put the bar and show you where all the mounting points are. And there we are, the bar is on. Very simple. You got your M12 or 1.5 bolts, obviously spring washers on both sides. Just 3 on each side. Do them up with the rattle gun and then hand tighten them. And the rubber up here, if you push it all the way on to start off with, there will be like a slight little gap here, so just push it back a little bit up to this body line, and it closes that gap up on the headlight. It looks really nice. And this is what I was talking about, your minimum distance. So this is 10 to 15 mil. Sets your gap and sort of sets where the bar goes, and looks really nice. So what we're going to be doing now is obviously connecting that plug up in the middle. So this connector here, that'll go in like so. We're also going to be mounting the indicators, so they'll just go up in there like that. And after that, we were going to be taking out the bash plates, so that's the next step, bash plates. Now with these side ones, you kind of want to mock it up with no bolts yet. Hold it up like so, and then mark out your line as to where you're going to be cutting your fender liner. These 200s are good, as you can just remove this if you wanted to. Really does nothing anyway, and it just finishes up here, so all of this will be off. Or you can just cut it all the way up there as well. But we are going to cut it and conform to the bumper, like bull bar itself, so it makes it look the best it can. So I'm going to get all that done now, and we'll come back when I show you how to do the bash plates. Okay, so the bash plates are on. Like I said, you just want to put it up there. I mocked it up, just put it up there, and then I cut the fender liner. So the fender liner is tucking in behind this lip here. Makes it somewhat secure. Like I said, you can remove the whole thing if you wanted to, and then just cut it on the angle. It's not going to be perfect, never is, but does the job. Same with this center bash plate here. You've got 2 Allen keys on either side, and then you're just going to the factory mounting in the middle there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chuck in that center grill, which is for the winch and number plate. And yeah, so that's just the same thing. Couple of that Allen keys, through the side, along the top and down there as well. Nice and sturdy. And then it's just number plate and the bar is done. So we'll come back once it's all done, do a full light show for you as well. And yeah, pretty simple, should only take a couple of hours. Alrighty, and that is the bar done.